And go to KwaZulu-Natal, where Mangosuthu Buthelezi is expected to check his registration details at the local tribal authority in Ulundi at around 12. And we do have our reporter Ayanda Mhlongo there. Ayanda, has of course the prince arrived there to verify his details this morning rather.
A very good morning to you, Alicia, and good morning to our viewers at home. Not yet. We are expecting him in about 30 minutes or so. We have been told that he will be making his way here to the local Buthelezi Tribal Authority. We are in the area of Ulundi in the Nkonjane Reserve, and this behind us is where Mangosuthu Buthelezi, the president of Inkatha Freedom Party, this is where he casts his vote, and this morning this is where he will be coming through to check on the voters' roll whether or not his details are there. Of course, Alicia, here in KwaZulu-Natal and I guess across the country, an important day, but particularly here for the province of KwaZulu-Natal, where the IEC has said that KZN has the highest number of registered voters who have their particulars missing. That could either be their details or their residential details that are missing or not complete. Others, they don't have their addresses, and so they have been on quite a huge drive, particularly for this weekend, encouraging or asking voters across the province of KwaZulu-Natal that even if you know and you have voted before, that please do go out today to ensure that all your details are on the voters roll. There are about 1.4 million eligible voters here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal who have those missing details, and the three municipalities with the highest number are eThekwini, the Mangosuthu municipality, as well as in the Zululand municipality, which is in fact in the area which we are. So it is important today that Mangosuthu Buthelezi, once he is done here to verify all his details on the voters roll, he is going to be going out as well on a drive around. He's going to be visiting several voting stations and doing door-to-door campaigns, where he's going to be visiting people and urging voters to come out in their numbers to check their details. We just checked with some of the officials here when we arrived. People coming in a bit slow in the morning. Of course, the process we hear is very quick. People just come in, and there is not a lot of people who are here. So they estimate about a couple of minutes that voters will spend at the voting station just to come through, check that your details are there, and if you are, you're sorted, you're good to go. But of course, for those people who are voters who have their missing details, they are going to require that you do provide, and particularly in rural areas, which have been a challenge for the IEC, and they've said that people would have to at least bring them a location, the name of the tribal authority, the name of the local councillor or the local ward councillor, so that they're able at least to pinpoint the home. We do know, Alicia, that in rural areas, unlike urban areas where there aren't any street addresses, so they are relying on that information, that voters bring that information to them, particularly those who have missing addresses. They did say earlier on this week, the IEC in KZN at that press conference, Alicia, that they did say they do have checks and balances. They are appealing to people, of course, to be honest when they provide that information, because there were issues in the past where they picked up that people who were not in the voting district or area where you should be registered, where people were coming in from other areas or even neighboring areas. It was picked up in the area of Pongolo not so long ago, where there was going to be a by-election, where they found that people from Swaziland were coming through to vote in Pongolo. And so the IEC then had to go and do physical checks to check that the person was in fact residing in the area in which they had said that they were residing in. And so they said today they're appealing to people to be honest when they provide those details, but failing which they do have systems in place, and if needs be, they will go and do physical checks at the people's residents to ensure that they have provided the correct details and they have not given false information to the IEC. And they have said that there will be repercussions for people who do provide false information. The IEC has also appealed to political parties. They will have their party agents today to be vigilant. They know their residents, they know their local communities, so they need to assist the IEC to look out for people and notify them if they do suspect that people from another voting district or another ward, that they notify the IEC officials immediately so that they can attend to those areas. Of course, it is important for political parties again today that they are also out trying to ensure that people come out in their numbers to the voting stations. And Mangosuthu Buthelezi is one of the leaders in KwaZulu-Natal. Of course, they're all over KZN and Durban as well. Alicia, we've got the leadership of the ANC in Durban. Also here in the Ulundi area, we also know that the president of the NFP, she's also not so far from us, where she's also going to be checking, I beg your pardon, her to check at the voting station where she'll be voting to see that her details are in order as well. And after that, she's also going to be as well going around to various voting stations and also just encouraging the people of Ulundi to come out in their numbers. But of course, we are here at this tribal council where we'll be waiting the arrival of Mangosuthu Buthelezi, and we'll possibly come back to you as soon as he arrives, and possibly just to speak to some of the voters themselves to see how smooth the process was, if there were any challenges. And just from the IEC themselves, we did check earlier on this morning. They said all systems go in KwaZulu-Natal, all voting stations opened without any major hiccups. So it looks like it's going to be a good day, but the message is out for voters across KwaZulu-Natal. Please go out and check to see that your details are on that voter's roll. Alicia.
Right, so Ayanda, I mean, speaking of rural areas, I'm very glad that you mentioned how the IEC is actually addressing the issue of those people that have informal addresses. But let's talk about this. We know that Home Affairs is another integral part of this voter registration. Have you seen Home Affairs officials working overtime this weekend? We do understand that some officers, there's been an instruction that some officers actually need to extend their hours just to accommodate those that might be coming in to either get new IDs and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. And a very important point you're mentioning there, Alicia, because we do have picked up some concerns from people who are saying that they don't have IDs. Others have lost IDs and they were still waiting. Their Home Affairs has assured us that their offices are going to be open. They were going to be extending their hours over this weekend, as well as to have their mobile units traveling to areas such as areas here in Ulundi where the Home Affairs offices are a bit of a distance. So ensure that they are closest to the people and those people who want to get their IDs or want to quickly ensure that they apply or register to get their ID so that they are able to do that and the process is smooth. On our way here, we haven't seen Home Affairs officials, but we have been told that yes, they are out and about across the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Mostly the remote areas, the rural areas is going to be their focus. Of course, if you're living in the urban areas, it will possibly be easier for you to access their offices, but the challenge has been with areas that are in deep rural areas where some people have to travel quite a long distance, transport getting to those Home Affairs offices. Of course, Alicia, while I mentioned IDs, you know that there's a massive drive as well to get young people, the new voters who will be voting possibly for the first time next year. IEC has been appealing to those youngsters to please go out as well. Therefore, first will also have to make sure that they have applied. They do have their ID. So Home Affairs is also going to be out there ensuring that the youngsters that they also are able to apply, get their IDs so that they too will be able to cast their votes come next year. But we are going to be moving around, Alicia, across Ulundi. As I said, we will be with Mangosuthu Buthelezi, but we will be moving around as well, and just to check up on those issues like the Home Affairs. Another other one, of course, Alicia, which is quite important for the province of KwaZulu-Natal, is with regards to security. And we can say that there has been adequate security that has been deployed to all voting stations, and particularly those areas that have been hotspots in the past. So far, I have done my checks this morning. It's been relatively quiet, but security agencies have said that they are out and about to ensure that there are no problems and that people are able to go to the voting stations to check on their details, those new registration to register to vote, and that there are no issues with regards to security. So that's also going to be quite important to ensure that our voters or eligible voters, that they go to these voting stations and there are no problems. Alicia.
Ayanda, thank you so much. We'll definitely touch base with you much later on, hopefully when Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi arrives at the local tribal council there to verify his details out in Ulundi in KwaZulu-Natal. As you know, the drive to register to vote for next year as well as verify your details is taking place between today and tomorrow, opening from 8 to 5.